Good evening and welcome to another episode of Bluethentic with our co-hosts Rocky and Robbie Green. How are you guys?
Hey, good to see you, Maxie. Hello, Rocky.
Good, gents. Great to see you both. Always a pleasure. Look forward to this every week.
How are you, Robbie? You've been a little bit, some would say, negative in recent times.
Oh, look, I think there's reasons for that, as you know, and a couple of things have really pissed me off of late. But
Really?
You know what? I've closed that chapter. Mr. Positive is here tonight because I was impressed with what happened on Saturday night.
Can't wait to hear that. How are you going, Rocky?
Oh, tickety boo. Next door to perfect.
Tickety
Fantastic. Couldn't be better. Like I said, look forward to this every single week.
Where were you Saturday night, Rocky?
I got an invite to watch the NRL, the rugby, Melbourne Storm versus the Rabbitohs. And what a disaster that was.
Yeah, total disaster. So you missed the game?
I missed the game, but I was keeping up to date with what was going on, and I was quite impressed with what I was reading with the little summary snapshots that were coming through from the AFL app, which was good. So looks like we've, from all reports, from what I was reading, we looked a little bit dynamic, especially our forward line.
Yeah.
Nimble's a word.
Yeah, my concerns over our exit D50 connection through midfield were, I think, pushed aside on Saturday night. I felt as though we reconnected. So anything that we marked in D50, we're able to just spot up and hit targets 20, 30 metres away. So
lower the eyes, Rob.
Yeah, lower the eyes. We weren't. Yeah. Well, Ollie Hollands wasn't playing. He's one that goes down the line. But we're able to connect through, and we're able to exit D50 easier.
How good's that Carroll?
Yeah, we'll get to him. Yeah, I think he's one of our young players that are really starting to shine. Over to you, Maxie.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I think that's the best we've transitioned the ball from D50 to inside 50 for the whole year. Now, whether that's sustainable will be interesting to see.
Why do you reckon, Maxie? Why do you reckon? Why? I mean, I didn't watch the game. It's like I was reading snippets.
There's probably a few reasons. Good. I mean, there's probably a few reasons. I think one is that we didn't have Harry Mackay to kick down the line to, and they got some big beasts. So if we tried that, we was coming back every time, right? I mean, it's hard enough to penetrate inside 50 with all their big fellas, but I think maybe Ollie Hollands, like he wasn't kicking the ball from D50. Nick Newman, as we know, is a great kick. It's Matt Carroll's a beautiful kick behind the ball. I'm sure.
So what happens this week, though? What happens this week? I mean, Mackay comes in. So, we're playing in St Kilda. We've got Silvani, we've got Dougal Howard, we've got Wilkie. So what happens this week when he comes in? Do we go back to that kicking down the line and hitting him up, or
I don't think so. No. I would love to see Harry play 0 to 25. That would make St Kilda nervous. Yeah. And if he's going to kick a goal, it's going to be 0 to 25. Probably a snap, right? He's going to play on the right pocket, right? He's going to play on that right pocket.
I think there's been a mind shift there around our exit D50 and our uncontested possessions. It was so much better on the weekend. Our foot skills were good. We were able to release, give the drive-by straight away, and that throughout Fremantle's structure. They zoned, but we were able to switch the play and bring it down the other side pretty well. We looked a different team on Saturday night.
Yeah, our Onewood, which is winning clearance and stoppage, kicking goals from clearance and stoppage, was actually quite poor on Saturday night.
Yes, correct. It was. Yeah. So that's an area we're looking to bounce back this week with, but overall, I think we sent a little bit of fear up Freo. They would have sensed that. Yes, they beat us. It was a couple of goals in the end, but I think when I mention last week about this group being really tightening. I'm sold on that one. I reckon they are, and they can't wait to sing that theme song. And when they do, it's going to be loud, and it's not too far away, gents.
No, I mean effort.
You know-
Effort. I think effort for most of the year's been pretty good. The tackle numbers have definitely been up the last few weeks.
Oh, they're definitely picked up. Yes,
Um,
I'm looking at the stats now.
You know, I mean, Fremantle would just look. I always felt that Fremantle were probably always going to win. They just held us at bay. They obviously put on a few goals in the third and fourth quarters.
Yeah,
But credit to our
it's
boys.
5 minutes.
Credit to our boys for still, you know, I know the game was dead, but they kicked. I think they kicked the last 4 or 5 goals of the game.
Yeah, I'll mention 2 players here for Freo. Look, Josh Tracy got hold of Wheats in the game. You know, unfortunately for Wheats, he got called out a couple of times. But he could do that in the finals.
He's too athletic for Wittering.
He's a brute too. He's a brute. He's just
bulldozer.
He's just tough.
And he
he's
hurt himself
strong,
as well. He hurt his elbow, but his arm, maybe he pushing through.
Yeah. He's got the big arms, and his leap's good, strong, and and Bolton as well. He was elite. That's the Bolton that we knew of Richmond, the way he played. So he took ground, and he was able to just execute really well. So for me, those 2 players really, really stood out for Freo, and were the difference in the end.
Because we're able to sort of keep Sarong under wraps. I think Lord played on
definitely.
for a bit.
Yeah.
I think Lord's really good at playing that run with roll and still get his hands on the footy.
We missed out for the Collingwood game then, wouldn't he? It would have been good.
Yeah.
And look, and Luke Jackson. That guy's an absolute jet, right?
He's a freak.
Liam really tries hard, and
he'll be all right though.
I wouldn't be opposed to playing 2 rucks this week, with Reedy and Pitnet, but they probably won't with Harry coming back. But he tried hard.
Oh, definitely. And look, my only criticism of Reedy was any ground balls that weren't within his reach. He tried to make them within his reach, and Jackson was able to just run off him. With Jackson, once that contest is done, you've got to just run to him and stay with him. And say, fuck the ball. I'm not going anywhere near it.
Yeah, but not many people will be able to keep up with him. Not many. He's an athlete. This guy. He just runs all day.
Yeah, he's a great player, Jackson, but you've got to try and negate him. And he, unfortunately for Reedy, just inexperience, mate. But he'll be better, and his effort you can't question. And I loved it when one of our boys copped a spray from Cox or whatever, and Reedy went straight over to Cox and got stuck into him. I love that. That was good.
Well, that's what he brings, right? He brings a bit of that, and we need that. We need a bit of strength.
Yeah, I think this time next year, Reedy will be so much better. So much better.
He's a bit of a bash and crash type ruckman. He's still got that Nankervis type style.
Yeah, Nankervis, yeah, correct.
Yeah. Nankervis didn't play well straight away. Went from Sydney to Richmond, and then came good.
But let's be honest though, the ruck rules are going to hamper him a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not going to help people. Ruckman like Reedy aren't going to be, and Pitnet really aren't going to be held by the changes to the ruck rule.
Yeah, the boundary throw-ins and stuff, he'll be fine. But yeah, look, I think this time next year, like a number of players on our list, I absolutely really, really buoyed about that.
Matt Carroll, how good is this kid going to be?
Yeah, well, he's on my list of young players that I said last week that we just need to focus on our youth and just to see what they do. And at the moment, he's above Jagger. He's above Harry Dean. He's setting the benchmark for us to look with so much to look forward to. Like his left foot, his evasiveness around the ground, it's right up there with
but it's not just that. Not just that though. Like his ability to mark the ball.
Correct.
Yeah.
And now he's hitting the scoreboard.
Poor ball.
I saw him take that courageous mark, running with the flight of the ball.
He reminds me
elite.
of Simpson.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, different type
Kate
of player in a
Simpson.
way. He plays
Different
sort
type of player,
midfield.
but what I'm talking about, like his left foot, his courage, his flight with the ball, he impacts the play. You know, he hits a target. I just got little traits of Simpson's. When I look at him, I see Simpson traits in him.
We haven't seen a player improve this much from one year to another in recent times as Matt Carroll has.
Totally.
And being delisted.
Yeah.
And being delisted.
I mean,
Yeah,
he showed promising signs last year. I think we all agree with that. But his fitness wasn't there, his kicking wasn't there, his strength. But he's worked on all three of those areas and become a really good footballer.
I wonder in time whether he could become an inside mid. Definitely a good outsider, but maybe in time
I'd
he
keep
could
him
be
on the
an
outside.
insider.
I wouldn't be playing him on the inside. I'd be keeping him on the outside. He's got that elite skill, left foot kicking.
He could be like the Bont Rocky.
But
Could be. But not an inside and outsider though.
Yeah, we don't have a left foot inside mid, do we? No.
Isn't Lord left footer?
No.
No.
Right foot. No.
No.
Why? It's a good point you make, Robbie. I mean, why? Why couldn't they put him in some centre bounces?
That's right. Yeah.
That's $1 million question for a lot of things.
Sydney Swans, trusted McInerney with it, and look at where they are now. So he was seen as a halfback running type, right foot, only, but they've put him in the midfield.
He's explosive though. He's explosive.
Yeah, McInerney.
You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Let's be honest.
But if you're the constant handball receiver and not the one that goes and gets it, Carroll can do some damage. And we've got those players we need those players in the midfield.
Yeah, but he's on the outside. He's not in and under getting the ball out. He's receiving the handball.
Yeah. But if you play inside mid, if you start at centre bounce, all that sort of stuff, there is a go-to, and he could be that nice handball receiver, and his left foot is lethal. Reminds me of Maxi Pappen back in the day.
Does absolutely.
Oh.
What about Jagger? I thought he was okay. He actually went at 100% disposal.
100% disposal, though. Yeah, I was looking at these stats.
Yeah, once again, so much to look forward to with Jagger. I'm just hoping he gets through the year, just learns a bit. Make sure these numbers remain at the 20 plus, because we've got so much to look forward to there. God, oh my God. This time next year, look out.
The other two young players are Harry Dean. Probably wasn't as good as he has been in the past, but didn't do a lot wrong. And also Taylor Byrne, who may need a rest.
Yeah. For me, look, Harry Dean, when he acted for that free kick, that was poor. And look, he's young. That's what happens. The umpire didn't fall for that. And he just gave up space to Frederick, and Frederick just turned around and said, whiz bang, mate, there's a goal. Harry didn't need to do that. It really stood out. So, but, he didn't have a great game, but once again, he learned so much out of it. Yeah. And Byrne just can't get front and square. He is off to the right. He's off to the left. He needs to learn how to crumb, because he's getting nowhere near it.
It's time he goes back, which I think will happen this week. I mean, there's options in the VFL, which we'll talk about soon. But before we do that, I mean, the other two players I think it's really important to talk about is Kemp and McGovern.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Kemp got into my votes, and that for me, when we look at players who are game changers, he's a potential game changer. On our list, I don't see a player who's a game changer at the minute, except for Kemp. Yeah.
His ability in the air in the last 3 or 4 weeks has been significant, and he's converting those goals. He seems to be, Harry should be in the right pocket. He seems to be getting in that left pocket, and he's snapping a lot, but he's converting.
Yeah.
And his aerial work has been excellent.
Yeah. Well, I think it gets back to, he just needed some time, he just needed to play some games and after his injury and stuff. So he's back half the season's going to be bloody good. But our structure going forward without Harry on the weekend, we found some crummers. We found some players that were linking, and I think without Harry, we look so much better. I think he brings a sense of awkwardness to that forward line, in my view. Unfortunately.
Well, at the end of the day, his disposal in general isn't great.
No.
And he'll drop marks, and there'll be spills, and then there'll be free kicks, and yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, talking about Harry, I was wondering why that guy didn't get reported for striking him the other week. The elbow to the face.
Oh, it was an active play. He was going for the ball.
Still.
You can't.
Concussed.
Look,
Concussed.
I suppose, yes.
How'd they miss that?
Yeah, but they didn't know whether the concussion was the ball hitting him in the face or whether it was, so you can't really say concussed because of the arm to the face. Could have been the ball that concussed him.
I wonder if they
could never
looked at
suspend him on that.
I wonder if they looked at it.
They would have looked at it. They look at every concussion. They look at every concussion.
Yeah.
What about Mitch McGovern?
Yeah. Well, it's I think, Maxie, that he's had a pretty good year, all things considered.
He's had a very good year.
What sort of coin would he be on?
I reckon he'd be lucky to be on 300 grand, 350.
350, 400, I'd say. Yeah.
I mean, they didn't contract him until late, and they gave him 1 year.
Yeah, that's right. So when I heard him say the other day that he wants to prove people wrong, that's the first time I've ever heard him say that. And for me, it looks as though he's digging in now.
Yeah,
he cares.
You go on.
Yeah, he's digging in, and he understands that this year could be his last year. And I see some care from him. I see some passion. And I think that, once again, his second half of the year, if this group stays together and connected, he could have a good finish to the year.
He could kick 40. He could kick 40 goals, Rocky.
He could, but you think about it. The thing that when your sphincter tightens a little bit, then you start to realise that, hey, what I had previously was a good thing, not a bad thing. And I think that a lot of these players, McGovern one, probably took the club, not the club, I shouldn't say took it for granted, but when you're on good coin and if you get injured, you got 3 years left on your contract, and it's I'm on 750 or 800 or whatever it is, 500, whatever it is, your care factors, let's be honest, it's not where it is now, where you've only year-on-year basis and you're getting 300 grand less than what you were getting previously. So of course you've got a point to prove.
Yeah.
But the thing that annoys me is you should be proving it when you're on 750, not when you're on bloody 300, because it's a year for year. It's a year-to-year proposition now for him. The club won't give him more than 2 years. I think they found the secret of herbs and spices here, where we've got to put this guy on 1 year contracts.
Yeah.
Okay, we give him an extra lick. We give him another 50, another 100, whatever it is, but he's on 1 year.
The problem will be if another club offers him 2.
Yeah, well, that's the risk we've got to take. Now, do we want to go down that path again? He said, he loves the club. He loves the club. Yeah, okay. Well, you offer him with the trigger. Okay, well, you kick 30 goals or you play 10, 15 games, then you trigger your second year. But the reality is you're on a good wicket for a long time and you didn't really produce. Let's be honest.
Look at Gunston, right? I mean, I'm not saying he's in the class of Jack Gunston, but
he could be not in that class.
He's a similar player, right?
Yes.
The thing about McGovern is he's a beautiful finisher.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. I actually think that the change of scenery up in the forward line has just given him a little boost. And now and at the moment he's contributing. Yeah, he would feel that. The club feels that. So he's just got to continue on this journey.
But his skills, left and right foot, are elite.
Oh.
He's kicked a lot of goals, left foot snaps this year.
They're elite. Yes. 100%. What were your thoughts on Moyer's game, Maxie?
He didn't do a lot. he didn't do a lot, but what he did do, and which he often does do, he maximises his opportunities.
Yeah.
The challenge for Moya is getting more of the pill. But, I think last year they unlocked him a bit. You know what they did last year? They played him, and they did it in the VFL, and then they did it in the AFL. They played him a little bit through the middle, and he has the ability to actually get clearance.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they've done that this year, and I don't know why,
No.
but I think they need to get him more involved. They even put him in for 2 or 3 centre bounces, get him involved up the ground a bit. He's so skillful. He's so skillful. His left and right foot are elite, right? Like, I hope he doesn't get dropped this week. I hope he gets another opportunity.
No, they'll play him. I reckon they'll play him. They'll keep playing him now. I want him to go for his marks. He almost took a ripper on Saturday. He should have a license to go for your marks. Just go. Because sooner or later, it's going to work for you.
He's got sticky hands. He's actually got sticky hands.
Oh, mate. And one of the best kicks you'll ever see of a footy.
He's elite. Left and right.
Yeah. So,
like, it's mind-boggling how good he is.
Yeah. I've got a list of young players that played on the weekend, and I sort of gave him a rating for the game. I gave Carroll an 8. Harry Dean only a 3, Byrne 3, Moya 3, Lord 5, and Jagger 6. Right, so that's that list of young players. That's our future. Right, and I'm going to focus on them over the next few weeks just to see what they do. And I think Vossi, they've earned a lot of trust off Vossi, and I think it's so much to look forward to.
Look, there is. I mean, obviously Cody Walker comes in next year, and then after we get through these votes, maybe we'll talk about the VFL and the potential changes for the game this week against St Kilda.
Yeah, totally. Do you think at any stage that Freo thought they may lose that game?
Oh, look,
there was an instance where he got 4 points, isn't it? 4 points in
during
the third quarter.
During the third quarter, they might have got a little bit twitchy.
Yeah.
But it always felt like they had controlled the game, to be completely honest.
How did you find the umpiring?
I think the umpiring was indifferent.
Yeah. I want to touch on the umpiring a little bit later.
We'll talk about it now if you want.
Yeah. Look, it's funny because the umpires have really copped it, and so has Greg Swan's copped it. The AFL have copped it. It hasn't been a great week for them. No. I want to... Now, I've done a bit of umpiring in the past, Maxie, Rocky, and it's when you walk into an umpire's room, you're in a different space, right? These umpires are different units, all right? Most of them haven't played footy or not a high level of footy, so I'm sort of I don't mind shit umpiring. I think it adds to the game. And my point here is we see it through a footballer's lens. Say, for example, I've played 400 odd games. Maxie, you've played a lot of footy. There's AFL commentators who are just bagging the crap out of the umpires. You've got to meet an umpire to understand an umpire. And Maxie, you've met many in the EDFL. They're just different units. So them having to make really quick decisions at the speed of AFL games, yes, they do a lot of running. They're as fit as hell. But if they haven't played footy at that level, how do you expect them to get it right? That's my view on that.
Wonder what sort of testing they go through. Like, do they test their reaction times? You're right. What's their footy background? Also how intelligent they are. I mean, this is a professional sport, right?
Yeah.
And the umpiring, and look, I feel a bit sorry for the umpires because the rules and the interpretations change too often from year to year, 100%. And from round 1 to round 11 to round 23. I feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
The arc is pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? I mean, that decision on the weekend against the Kangaroos was just horrific.
That was absurd. That you could. Oh no. Anyway, but
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I get that. But do you see my point about these umpires? They're different. They're different.
But what's
cats.
your point though? I don't see your point. I don't
My
understand.
point is that there's a lot of experts out there who point the finger at the umpires, and I see some stuff, and the mind boggles. How does that happen? Mainly because these guys haven't played much footy. Yeah, this is something they love doing. They get paid very well, but they haven't lived the life of an AFL footballer, let
the
alone a
AFL have
local
tried.
footballer.
They've
That's my
tried to
point.
recruit ex-AFL players to umpire the game, and not many. There hasn't been much of an uptake. And Lee Fisher's still one. I think he's still in there.
Yeah.
Jordan Bannister did.
Jordan Bannister.
Yeah, mainly because of the fitness aspect. It's too hard.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
but that's my point. Is the expectations are really high from AFL commentators. Most of them have played AFL footy. But what I'm saying is, these guys have never played the game at that level.
But
So
neither have umpires 30, 40 years ago. They never played the game.
That's right. It was crap back then.
Yeah, but it's an opinion. It's an opinion. Like you said, they've got a split second to make a decision based on what they think. They've got to process all this information.
And there's 4 umpires.
And there's 4, but let's be honest, and they all got different opinions because then one might overrule the other one from what they've seen on different angles. Yeah. But let's be honest though, overall, when we look at it, I would say they would get 80% of it right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, exactly right. I know, and I know they get criticised pretty severely, but it's not going to change. This is how it's going to be. There's going to be mistakes next week. It's going to go on and on and on. But
I tell you,
what annoys me is how we can make how we get the arc things wrong. That's what annoys me. Not the umpire making the wrong decision, because the technology is just crazy. It's just mad.
Yeah, Marshall looked as though he marked it over the line. That looked as though it was well and truly over on the juggle, But it's just shit umpiring.
I always reckon the best umpiring is when there's low free kick count.
Yeah.
Just let some things go. Let some things go. Just let it go. Be consistent, but let it go a bit.
Yeah. No, it's always. But yeah, and you've got 4 different individuals out there who just think differently. They allow an extra second for some things. The holding the ball rule is just out of control. Like these players have got to be, quick as lightning just to get rid of it.
The worst one is when the worst one is when they don't dive on it, but they grab it, and then the opposition tucks the ball under them, and then they get holding the ball.
Yeah,
but that's just common sense, Maxie. That's just got to use common sense there. He's jumped on it. He's attempted to get rid of it. Then 4 players have jumped on him. Can't be holding the ball.
No,
right. He's the only one that wanted the ball.
Right.
Yeah, but I still think they get influenced by the crowd.
Absolutely, they do.
100%.
That's human nature.
100%.
Human nature.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
All right. The votes.
Yeah. So
Roberto.
Yeah, it's my week this week. So I've given 5. All right, so 5 to Walsh. Thought he played really well.
He's been our best player this year.
Kemp
his running's pretty good.
Yeah,
Kemp,
exactly.
4 goals.
Keep that. So Kemp.
What was Walsh's efficiency? Do we know? What was his efficiency?
Hold
on, let me look it up.
I haven't checked that.
Yep.
Keep going, Rob.
Yeah, Kemp 4, Cripps 3. Cripps had probably one of his better games.
24 contested possessions.
Yeah, that's not bad. Carroll 2, deserved 2. Yep. I gave 1 to Haynes. I thought Haynes was pretty special down back. That's probably one of his best games at the club.
Special when he gets 1 vote.
Special.
He's a good player, Haynes.
You couldn't give him any more.
Value pickup, yeah.
Yeah, he has. Love to see him play on, but he's getting a bit old.
He'll go around another year. I mean, if Farrell doesn't come on or come back, I think he'll go on another year. Efficiency. Hold on, Walsh is 66%.
66. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
12 contested possessions.
Is Pitto back this week before I go on
He's,
to
so the injury update is
Yep.
Harry will be available. Pitnet is likely to be available, but not 100%. He needs to get through training. Ben Camporelli is likely to will be available, and Lucas Camporelli will be unavailable still.
Can Vossi make a statement and tell Harry to play in the twos this week?
What?
What's the
Don't be
chances of that happening?
surprised.
What's the chances of that happening? I think this week Harry should probably play in the ruck as a second ruck. I would get rid of Lewis
I
Young.
like that. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
get rid of Lewis Young. Maybe drop Liam Reedy. Drop Taylor
No.
Byrne.
Yeah,
and
you
get
know
Harry
Lewis
in the ruck.
Young is undroppable now. He's staying put. He just gets a gig.
He can't.
I've got the Bluethentic Player of the Year tally
Let's go.
on 10 votes. Walsh. Equal on 10 is Elijah Hollins.
Really?
There you go.
Mm.
Wheats is on 9. Jaggers on 7. Pitto 5. Gov 5. Lord 3. Cripps 3. Haywood 3. Ainsworth 2. There you go. That's the
Cripps has only got
update.
3 votes for the whole year.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get him to double check that.
You sure they're the right votes? I feel a bit low.
No,
given 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No, Cripps has had a couple of, low games.
Average games.
Hasn't.
Yeah, I can double check those. I'll get him. But he went over the videos before.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So the VFL, I think there's probably more excitement out of the VFL on the weekend than the AFL in some regard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what, the AFL? Our AFL?
Our VFL over the AFL.
Oh, but you're
More
saying
excitement.
yeah. Oh no, I was excited about Saturday night.
Oh.
Well, the VFL now have won 2 games. There is a lot of excitement about that group. So
two players. Two players in particular. We need to call out. He's one, Billy Wilson, 40 possessions.
Billy.
I think 41 possessions.
My man Billy.
Playing mainly half back, but did go through the midfield a bit as well. His movement and his kicking were excellent. Played really well, and Jack Ison kicked 4.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Jack Ison's we know he's going to be a pretty special player. Like, this kid turns so well. He's got a little bit of on ground balls. If he picks up a footy, he can step someone really easy. This kid, I'm so confident about what he can do. I swear to God, I can't wait to see him and Jagger in the same team. He's going to turn some defenders ice, and he's going to make them look stupid. I'll tell you now.
He's got some swagger too. He's got some swagger.
Yeah. He's got swagger, mate.
Jagger swagger.
Yeah, Jagger swagger bagger. Totally. Yeah. And
what about my man Dirksen? He played all right. He looked all right. He kicked a couple, clunked a couple. He played all over the ground.
I liked how he played up forward a little bit and kicked that nice goal. Did you see the crowd? It was like 14,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, the Tasmanians, don't they count too? Yeah, but Dirksen, he got in the best players. That's all he can do. Get down there, develop him. I'd like to see him, stay there for a few weeks. But when he does come up, maybe play him up forward. He's got a beautiful kick on him, and he might be a different player up forward than in defence. Not so much pressure on him.
Who comes in, Maxie? Who comes in?
Well, let's talk about who comes out. Because I think Byrne definitely comes out.
Yep, he's due.
I think Reedy probably comes out.
Think so?
Yeah. Well, if Harry comes in,
I don't think it with the Conning and Marshall. I don't know.
I think they might play Reedy, mate.
I just think
you can't keep dropping him. You can't keep dropping him. No.
Maybe they go. I would definitely go Byrne and your man Lewis Young. Yep. Harry Mackay comes in for Lewis Young. and then Pitnet comes in full burn.
Who's lucky to stay up there? Is there anyone that's really lucky to stay? I suppose our form was good, so you can't. I actually called last week a win. I reckon it was a win.
I wouldn't be surprised if they give Jagger a rest at some stage.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have thought so. Just a rest.
Just a
not
rest.
to play in the twos.
No, not the playing twos. Just a week off.
Too good for that.
Cottrell, Cottrell was okay. Will he hold his spot? Probably.
No, you got to. Yeah, well, maybe a week off, but it was good to see him back in the team.
You've got to start rewarding the players like the Billy Wilsons. You've got to get Hewitt back in the side. Why? What I would be looking at moving.
But who's going to drop Rocky?
Chera's
definitely on. He didn't play well. He wasn't good.
I looked at his stats. These are rubbish stats. I mean,
so who would you do this week, Rocky?
I would look at bringing Chera. I'll be dropping Chera. I'll be bringing in Hewitt for him. I would be getting rid of Cottrell. I don't even know why he actually played him, to be honest with you. Looking at his stats.
His Voss's love child.
I'm only looking at his stats, because I didn't watch the game.
His love child?
Cottrell.
Yeah, well, he was part of that crew that played well in the finals a couple of years ago.
That's 3 years ago, Rob. We've had injuries for the last 12 months.
I thought it was a little bit premature bringing him in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I would be rewarding Billy Wilson as well.
Yeah,
Sard's another one we've got to look at. We can't keep.
Cottrell gives us speed around half forward, which we don't have. We just don't have it.
It's actually a really difficult week for selection.
It is, because I just count last week as a bit of a win. Didn't get the 4 points. We didn't get to sing the song, but I'll tell you what, there won't be many changes. You can't have many changes based on last week's effort.
Pitto and Harry will come in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and then you got our mate Young again.
Well,
Flynn Young.
Well, you can't. Well, Flynn Young, yeah, mate. That's what I mean. Like this is, you got Ison pushing up, you got Akers pushing up, you got Sard pushing up, you got Hewitt, Wilson. I mean, it's what the club wants.
Apparently, Akers said to a couple of fans at training, I think 2 old ladies said, "Oh, are you playing this week over at Freo?" He said to them, I think the selectors have forgotten that I play footy. True story.
Huh? Yeah. It's going to be a tough selection. Really difficult.
Yeah.
St Kilda, they've got De Koning and Marshall. So
yeah.
Maybe they do go with 2 rucks. I think Lewis, Young, and Byrne need to go back as a minimum.
This week's going to be a bit closer than I anticipated last week for this week's game. I'm far more confident about what we can do. Yeah, and there'll be an extra spice because it's St Kilda.
Who's going to play on Naz?
Well, I think
Cooper Lord.
Yeah, Cooper Lord will probably go to him. I wouldn't imagine that Carroll will play on him. Although it would be a good experience, but it's basically just a swinging off different players. He's a class act. He's a match winner. What about Liam Ryan? Who's going to go to him?
Good luck.
Yeah.
He got the massive corky. I was watching the game. Did he recover? He recovered from that, didn't he?
Who's that?
Liam Ryan. He got the massive corky.
He recovered, and then Ross Lyons, got stuck in the Indigenous boys a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
The crowd are going to be the Carlton crowd are going to be on edge on Saturday night. You know that, don't you?
Oh,
like the Koning, Silvani in particular, less so the Koning, they'll cop a hiding.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'd love one of our players to go and say some stuff to Silvani. Nothing bad, but just to get into him a little bit.
I'd like Liam Reedy to go and push him over. Just get stuck right into him.
Just do something. Yeah.
Just get physical.
Yep. Just be mongrels. Just first opportunity, clean one up. Set the tone.
Is it gettable?
The game.
Gettable?
Oh, look, based on last week's game, See, we play okay at Marvel. Our contest stuff's got to be right there. I think if we play play as well as we did, against North in some parts of the game. We didn't play the whole game, I know that. But I think if we bring something like that or something like last week, it's going to be close. Absolutely.
I think our midfield's potentially better than their midfield. They've got a pretty solid back line, some good half backs. Sinclair,
Yeah.
He always tells us up Sinclair. They've got to put someone on Sinclair, and then Wanganeen, Malira, Higgins, and Ryan could be a bit tricky for us up forward.
Yeah, the scouting report for St Kilda will be interesting to see who went there on the weekend to watch St Kilda play. Unfortunately, West Coast were crap, but it wouldn't have stopped Carlton getting there, getting some documentation, getting some data together, and having an opposition, strategy with the players, and just to see. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that one. Yep. That
well, you got
uncontested.
Newman can take it. He can play on Ryan. That's not an issue. I think the other one is Higgins. And who do you put on Higgins? I think that's more the issue because they can Ryan can come in and out of the game. He's hot and cold. Where Higgins, he can maintain consistency throughout the whole game.
I wonder if they'll bring Asada or Boyd or someone in for Higgins.
Whether they do that, bring a Boyd or something like that, just play lockdown.
I think Ryan has the capability to do a Stewie Dew on grand final day and just rip it apart. He's that good, this guy. He can do anything. Yep, that's my view. And he could really rip us apart on the weekend. So it'll be interesting to see who goes to him. And De Koning, geez, the poor boy, he's not having a good year, is he?
No, he's not. I mean, his last 12 games last year were horrendous as well. So, not completely surprised. It's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure playing for $1.7 million a year.
More pressure now than what he had for playing for us those last 12 games. The last 12 games pressure for us was playing on his mind about he was leaving and what the reaction was going to be. I think now's the pressure of now I'm earning this money, so I've got to deliver, and he's not able to deliver. So they're two different pressures.
And he's arguably got a better ruckman in the team.
Yeah. What I'd do if I was Pito this week, I'd take a wad of sort of fake notes out to him, and every time he gets a possession, pull it out of his shorts and just throw it at him. A fake $50 bill. There you go. There's another 50. Why not? What'd be wrong with that? Well, that'd get the crowd stirred up.
Maybe you should do that. Maybe you should go on the bring some. You guys going to the game?
No, I can't. I can't go.
Yeah, I've got another footy club reunion, Maxie.
How many reunions did you get to, mate?
How
many clubs did you play for?
I played for Sunshine YC, Seddon, Keeler Park. Got best player in the finals for them. South Cairns, Essendon Super Rules,
5,
Powerhouse in the Amos, 1 game. There's 6.
6. Okay, it's not too many. I thought it was a few more.
It was.
Did you play for Flemington Colts? Did they?
No,
just juniors.
No, that's juniors. Yeah, I think there were 7 clubs, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah, got around.
All right, lads.
Had fun.
Anything else?
Yeah, no, nothing from me. I don't think. I think we've covered a fair bit. The AFL need to pick up their socks. Greg Swan come out and spoke to yesterday, I think, in his shades. Geez, he looks as though he's come back from the footy trip. He thought it was the honeymoon period's over.
I think he's going to be in Media Street again tomorrow. I think they're going to announce
tomorrow. They're going to announce the draft rules.
Yeah. What happened to what's happened to the Sydney CEO that's with the AFL now?
Tom Harley.
Yeah. Where is he? He's nowhere to be seen.
So the draft, the new draft rules, apparently Carlton and Port Adelaide have been lobbying to maintain for this draft a 10% discount
Yeah.
on points, which sounds like they're going to maybe honour.
Yeah.
But then the other interesting one that I heard today is that if you finish top 5 and you have a
Yeah.
father, son,
Bottom
or
5.
academy,
Bottom 5.
no. If you finish top 4 or top 5 and you get a father, son, or academy, it's to be confirmed. You actually pay. There's a loading on top.
You pay it loading, and the bottom 5 you get a discount. And if someone bids on within your pick, and you get pushed down one, then you'll get a first another pick at the end of the first round.
How does that work? How does that
Who
actually
knows?
work? So
That's open to Rort.
So if Richmond bid on Doug Cochran, they get an extra pick. But what about if Carlton's pick goes from, because of that, if Carlton's pick goes from 3 to 4, you get another pick?
Yes, correct. They all slide down. They get a pick. The bottom 5. So if Richmond pick 1, they bid Cochrane. Okay. So now Port Adelaide match the bid. So therefore Richmond's pick moves down to 2.
Yes.
So therefore Richmond, the team that ended 3rd, 4th, and 5th, they would get pick 19, 20, 21, 22. Only once. That's it. But then if then they bid on Walker, we don't get a pick past that. It's only once it triggers.
So, but we'll still get a pick for Walker. Carlton will still get a pick if
Richmond correct,
bid
because
on
we finished in that bottom 5. So if we finish in the bottom 5 and there's a bid within that 5, and therefore it pushes the team that bid on the player because someone else like Port Adelaide want their player, well then the teams in that bottom 5 get a pick at the end of the first round.
So we're going to be tanking.
It's open for tanking. It's open for Rort. It's open for a lot of fucking things.
AFL clubs, they always find a loophole.
Look, I think it could be good for us in the sense of it's the best of a worst case scenario, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Thanks, Cal Toomey. Appreciate it.
Percolating.
No, good stuff. Yep. All right. That's all. That's all. I think. Yeah. So Saturday, you going, Maxi?
I'm going.
Yeah.
Going. Level
Fair
1.
enough.
Level 1.
How? General admission or level 1? Yeah.
AFL members.
Yeah. No, nice.
Taking the family.
Taking the family, whole family.
That's great.
Excuse me.
Rob, we're keeping you awake, Rob. He's got to go to bed, mate. We've got to get him off. He's got to go.
You're right, mate.
Got to get the boy off.
I was in bed at 8:30. Get the boy off.
We do need to go to a game together. Actually, we need to find a game and have a Bluethentic game together.
What do we got? What do we got coming up? We've got
the Dogs in a
St.
couple
Kilda.
of weeks.
Dogs. No, I won't be able to come to the Dogs.
Bombers.
Bombers might be one.
Yeah, Bombers. We're going to do
we're going to do a
the Galla pre-match for the Bombers game. Get Smoke and Joe Mercedes on.
It'll be nice. We'll try.
Okay. All right.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks
Good on you,
again.
boys.
Thanks, listeners. We look forward to another big game for the Blues. Hopefully, they can get over the line on Saturday night.
Should we get James Hurd on for that pre-game?
Sure.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
I'll do the best I can.
See you, boys.
Go the Blues.